today is Sunday, May 15th, and we're at the boat again today. The weather has been horrible, and it's been raining. It rained last weekend, I think all weekend, and it rained yesterday, Saturday, and most of the day. And today it actually stopped kind of raining, but still really cloudy outside, so we didn't take the boat out today or yesterday. Probably have to wait till next weekend, and then we have some stuff to do Saturday, so it may actually be Sunday. So for today, what I did is, number one, I brought my shop vac. I have a big, giant 16-gallon shop vac. I brought it down to vacuum out the bilge, just to get that cleaned out. Because the bilge gets water in it that comes from the top sides. There's leaks and stuff in the top sides when it rains, so it gets water down there. And then it's kind of dirty right now, so I've been trying to get that cleaned out and keep the dirt and stuff out of there, just so it doesn't get sucked up in the bilge pump. So that's what I did. Played around with that a little bit today, and cleaned the engine up too, and sprayed some WD-40 on it and stuff to keep it from rusting. So mainly like little maintenance things like that. The next thing I'm working on is getting the GPS, and I've got 3 instruments already on the boat right now, and I want to get something that I can kind of network all of those 3 instruments with the new GPS. So let's take a look at the instruments I have now and what the plan is. All right, so this is what I have right now for our instrument panel. I've got this B&G Network Wind, which is connected up at the top, and it has the wind direction and speed. And you can see right now we don't have very much wind, and from its change in directions. Another reason today would be a bad day to go out. And then this one in the middle is the autopilot. It's a Simrad AP24 autopilot. And the last one over here is the B&G Network Quad, which has a couple things on here. It does speed, but that's not working right now because the sensor is all clogged up, I think, with junk. And then it has depth, which is what we use it for most of the time. And there's an alarm that it has. A timer, I'm not sure what the timer does, but oh, there it is, trip logs. We've never really used any of that. What I do use, it's nice to have, is the temperature. It tells you the water temperature right now. So water temperature is almost 65 degrees. Not bad. And then lights, I guess. So that's it. What I have here for GPS, what we have right now is this Garmin GPS Map 182C, which is pretty old. And the problem with this right now is it has these little cartridges. This thing opens up here somehow. There we go. And it has these little cartridges that you can replace the maps on, but they don't sell those anymore. So I can't get a new map, and I don't really like the map that's on here. It's not as good as the current Garmin map. So you can kind of see, if I zoom out, there's not a ton of detail in it. It's okay. It's good enough. It's good enough, and you can see it's got. I can't figure out how to delete all our tracks. So you can see all our tracks on there from previous trips. But that is our current GPS. So I want to replace this, and I want to get something that can take information from like here, specifically like the depth, and then possibly also wind speed and direction. Now, as far as how these things go together, there's 2 different systems that these can use. One is NMEA 186, I think it is, and that's the older instruments. And then the new one is NMEA 2000 for newer instruments. So my understanding is these 2 B&G instruments are NMEA 0816, and this Simrad is its own proprietary system that is apparently the same as NMEA 2000. Now, so if I want to integrate these, I got to find a GPS that can take the 0186, and then it should be able to take the 2000 just because it would be a newer one. Then the second thing that I have to figure out is how I'm going to mount these, because this is currently in this wooden case here that someone made to put on here, and it looks like it has the potential to leak if it gets wet. and get wet behind the instrument. So I want to replace that. And then the current GPS is attached to the this pedestal mount type thing right here, and it rotates. You can turn it around if you want. So I think what I'd like to do is I'd like to get the new GPS to fit inside of like a nav pod or sail pod, which is a white plastic fiberglass box that mounts in this area right here, and you can put the GPS on there as well as other instruments. But I don't think I'll have enough room to put all 3 of these instruments and the new GPS in one sail pod or nav pod. So that is the current situation, the current dilemma. Will I be able to hook these up to the new GPS? And how am I going to mount it in this space here? Okay, so this is the smallest Garmin here. And we actually had this one on our last boat. And this one's like around $350, I think, is the price for this one. The next level up is this one here, the UHD 64. The next level up is the 74, which they actually have the 7 and the 9, because it has a 7-inch screen, and then the 9 has a 9-inch screen, and I think this is the 9 here, and that's really big. I don't think that was turned on. This is the one we're looking at, is the 64. So I like it because it's not a touchscreen, and I like having the buttons. I like the map is really good. Better than the map that we currently have. Plus it has active captain built into it. Okay, so the next thing on the agenda for today is in Annapolis today is the Annapolis Uprigging Tall Ship Festival. So they'll have the Pride of Baltimore 2 and the Lynx, which are 2 schooners that they're going to have over there, the replicas of schooners from the early 1800s. So they'll have those 2 over there, and they're doing free deck tours. And I've never been on either one of them before, but we've seen them out in the harbor sailing around out there when we've been out there. The other boat they're going to have is another boat that is a new research vessel that they're building out of Annapolis. And the guy who's doing this is the guy who sailed around the Americas, North and South America, through the Northwest Passage. So huge trip in a single-handed by himself in a very small boat, like 20 something feet or 30 feet or something like that. So in a very small boat for that trip. And he is based out of Annapolis, and he did it as a fundraiser for CRAB, which is the Chesapeake something. It's a organization for getting handicapped people in boats sailing, and so he did it as a fundraiser for them and took one of their boats on that trip. And he's built this research vessel that is supposed to map the ocean floor up in the Arctic Circle area, Northwest Passage, in that vicinity, because apparently there's a lot of that hasn't been mapped yet. So he built this vessel here with donations and things, and is about ready to head off this summer or this spring to go do that research. And it's actually a sailboat. And the gist of the whole thing is that they can do those types of research for a lot cheaper in a sailboat, because you don't have to pay for gas or diesel or whatever it is to keep the engines moving and stuff. And for something like mapping the seafloor, a sailboat will go the right speed or the necessary speed. So we're going to go over there, walk over to Annapolis, and check that out here in a few minutes. right, we are walking back from the Tall Ship Festival and going to get the boat packed up and head home.